The United States of America completes withdrawal of its forces from Afghanistan late Monday, ending the 20 years of war that culminated in Taliban's return to power. The U.S. Army also posted a photo of the last soldier leaving Kabul. He was identified as Major General Chris Donahue, who boarded a C-17 aircraft to leave Kabul, marking the end of U.S. mission in Kabul. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken says that they have suspended the diplomatic presence in Kabul and transferred the operations to Doha. He has added that less than 200 Americans are still left in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, as the U.S. pullout was complete, the Taliban rejoiced with celebratory firing. Taliban spokesperson said that they want to have a good relationship with the world and that American defeat is a lesson for invaders.
Ominous gunfire ringing out at the Kabul airport. The Taliban celebrating the last of US troops leaving at the dead of night. Opening fire from automatic weapons after storming the airport. Moments earlier, the last US evacuation flight had taken off, ending the 20-year-old US military presence on Afghan soil. Major General Chris Donahue was the last US soldier to leave Kabul in a C-17 jet. US night vision camera photo from inside the Globemaster capturing the haunting yet iconic moment. Photos of the last batch of US men evacuating showed largely empty barracks at the airport.
We're here right now with the Taliban as they enter into what was only minutes ago, it was an American-controlled portion of the military airport. Now they're taking over.
The US air machines and tanks were found abandoned. Many deliberately wrecked by departing US troops in order to stop the Taliban from using them.
I'm here to announce the completion of our withdrawal from Afghanistan and the end of the military mission to evacuate American citizens, third country nationals, and vulnerable Afghans. The last C-17 lifted off from Hamid Karzai International Airport on August 30th, this afternoon, at 3:29 p.m. East Coast time.
The pullout ending a hasty and humiliating retreat 1 minute before midnight Kabul time on Monday, a full day before the 31st August troop pullout deadline could end, leaving behind hundreds of US citizens and abandoning thousands of Afghan allies possibly eligible for airlift.
We believe there are still a small number of Americans, under 200 and likely closer to 100, who remain in Afghanistan and want to leave. As of today, we've suspended our diplomatic presence in Kabul and transferred our operations to Doha, Qatar. We will use this post in Doha to manage our diplomacy with Afghanistan, including consular affairs.
With Americans gone, it's the end of the longest US war in history. It may also be curtains for freedom, for liberty, and for women's rights under Taliban rule. Bureau Report, India Today.
Major General Chris Donahue was the last American soldier to leave Afghanistan, and this image, taken with night vision optics of him leaving Kabul, is now being seen as a defining image of America's hasty and humiliating retreat from Afghanistan after 20-year war. Major General Chris Donahue, the commander of 82nd Airborne Division, can be seen leaving in a C-17 aircraft, ending America's mission in Kabul. Major General Donahue is seen stepping into Globemaster with someone snapping him from inside the jet, capturing the fading lights of the deserted airport in the background. The image was described in the handout provided by the U.S. Central Command that said that Donahue boarded the plane along with the last U.S. ambassador to Afghanistan, Ross Wilson. Major Donahue was sent to Afghanistan days ago to facilitate evacuation. Aptly, he's seen stepping into the aircraft after everyone is safely inside. Taliban is now in full control of Kabul airport after the last US plane left the country. Top commanders of Taliban, Mullah Baradar, Anas Haqqani with Badri forces are now in Kabul. They visited Kabul airport to take stock of what is left by the US military. However, Americans disabled scores of aircraft and armored vehicles as well as high-tech rocket defense system at the Kabul airport before they left. Kabul airport was on the globe's watch for the last 2 weeks. It was the only way out of the war-torn country. Thousands of Afghans besieged the airport, some falling to their death after desperately hanging on to the side of an American C-17 military aircraft. Last week, an Islamic State suicide attack at the airport gate killed at least 169 Afghans and 13 US service members. As the United States of America finally pulled out its last troop after spending 2 decades in Afghanistan, the country is now in tatters. As Taliban begins its rules, it's complete chaos in the war-torn country. The country now stares at hunger. It stares at financial crisis too. Here's our report.
For the US, it's curtains on a 20-year-long war in foreign land. But for Taliban, it is a new beginning. And they are down to business.
God willing, we will try to establish a safe atmosphere in all the provinces of Afghanistan so that the people do not worry and do not fear the Mujahideen, because they are our brothers and we protect them, and together with them we will build the homeland.
Despite these assurances, across the country, the situation is nowhere near normal. In Kabul, these are the frantic scenes. People reaching out for bags of food handed out by social workers. Desperate lines outside ATMs ahead of full-fledged Taliban rule. There are fears of restrictions on cash withdrawal by the Central Bank of Afghanistan. The country's economy that was fully dependent on foreign aid is now virtually decimated. Not just a financial crisis, a medical crisis also looms large.
The fact that, as you may know, the whole health system in Afghanistan was supported from outside, foreign aid, mainly the World Bank, the EU, and some other donors. And as you may know, the World Bank, but also the IMF and some others, froze the funds for Afghanistan. And one of the great risks for the health system here is basically to collapse because of lack of support.
Following the US troop pullout, under a new Taliban regime, Afghanistan is staring at uncertain future on all fronts: social, political, and economic. The war-hardened citizens would hope they can survive this upheaval too. Bureau Report, India Today.
Big clash between Taliban and resistance forces in the last free province of Afghanistan, Panjshir. Ahmed Masood aide Fahim Dashti has said that Taliban attacked Panjshir last evening. He claims that in the face-off, 7 to 8 Taliban soldiers were killed. They were also wounded. He has also claimed that a couple of resistance fighters were also injured in this particular clash. Meanwhile, you've got caretaker Afghan President Amrullah Saleh, who has refused to surrender to the Taliban forces amidst talks with the resistance front. Amrullah Saleh has called upon the global community to stand up for a right cause, maintaining that the Western community has a lot to lose. The caretaker president said that he was not going to be giving in without a fight against Taliban. Resistance forces claim the talks with Taliban are still underway.
Last night there was an attack by Taliban at the entrance of the Panjshir Valley. They may have tried to test their luck to enter Panjshir, but they were unlucky. They have lost 7 or 8. And same number wounded. Unfortunately, a couple of resistance personnel also were wounded. That's the latest news.
باور ما است که معلوماتی که اخیراً داریم گفتگوها هنوز هم هست. هر دو طرف تیمایشان به طرف خود برگشتن تا نظر نهایی رو با هم برسانند. یکی بعداً چی میشه فعلا گفتن نمیتونم، ولی غالباً شاید موضوع به جنگ نگرایه و به راه تفاهم مسئله حل شود.
it is committed to evacuate stranded Afghan minorities who may want to leave the country after Taliban takeover. Sources say Prime Minister has directed a high-level group of comprising of EAM, NSA and senior officials to focus on immediate priorities of India. Foreign Secretary Harish Singh Shringla has said that India always provided strong support to minority communities like Hindus and Sikhs in Afghanistan, adding it is an important part of New Delhi's effort to evacuate Afghan nationals. Over 800 people were evacuated from Afghanistan and brought to India since 16th of August when the first group was airlifted from Kabul. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council, under India's presidency, adopted a strong resolution seeking stopping of Afghanistan's soil for use of terror activities. The Taliban have made yet another outreach towards India. This time, senior Taliban leader Sher Mohammad Abbas has described India as an important country in the region. The man, who is touted to be the foreign minister in the Taliban 2.0 government, has said that maintaining trade ties with India is important. This is coming after Taliban spokesperson assured that India could carry on its reconstruction and development projects. But can India really forget Taliban terror? Here's a look.
As the Taliban government takes shape in Afghanistan, a senior member of the Taliban leadership, Sher Mohammad Abbas Stanikzai, has said that the group wants to maintain trade, economic and political relations with India. Stanikzai, widely tipped as Afghanistan's next foreign minister, asked India to retain a diplomatic presence in the war-devastated country. The Taliban leader also said air trade route between India and Afghanistan needs to be kept open. He was referring to the air corridor between India and Afghanistan that was established to boost trade between the two countries in view of Pakistan's denial to allow transit access. Stanikzai was part of a group of foreign cadets who received training at the prestigious Indian Military Academy in Dehradun in the early 1980s. He also described India as an important country in the region.
ما می‌خوایم که همکاری‌های سالمشان دوام بکنه، در راسته دیپلماتیک با هم روابط حسنه داشته باشیم. همچنان اگر نیاز میشه سفیرای ما هم در تمام کشورها خواهد بود و سفرای کشورهای دیگر هم در افغانستان فعلا هم هستند. فضای اطمینانی برشان مساعد شده.
This isn't the first time the Taliban have reached out to India. Soon after the fall of Kabul, Taliban spokesperson had said that India can complete its reconstruction and infrastructure projects, even going to the extent of calling Kashmir a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. India has been a key stakeholder in Afghanistan and has invested nearly $3 billion in carrying out around 500 projects across the country. For now, India has been adopting a wait-and-watch policy.
Currently, there is a lack of clarity, or no clarity about any entity forming a government in Kabul. We of course continue to monitor the situation very carefully. This is an evolving situation, and I think for the moment that's all I have to say about this element.
India, though, hasn't forgotten Taliban terror. In 1999, the Taliban government allowed the hijackers of an Indian Airlines flight from Kathmandu, Nepal, to escape. Taliban permitted Masood Azhar to travel to Pakistan, where he founded Jaish-e-Mohammed, an organization responsible for a spate of high-profile attacks across India. Does India have a choice of engaging with Taliban now? Bureau Report, India Today.
Former Pakistan cricketer Shahid Afridi has expressed his love for Taliban. He said the Taliban have come with a positive mind as they've allowed women to work. He also said the Taliban like cricket a lot. Take a listen in to Shahid Afridi praising Taliban. The Pakistani cricketer earlier, remember, made anti-India remarks over Kashmir too.
नो डाउट तालिबान आए हैं इस वक्त और बड़े पॉजिटिव फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड के साथ आए हैं. ये चीज़ हमें पहले नज़र नहीं है और माशाल्लाह ये चीज़ें बड़ी ज़बरदस्त पॉजिटिविटी की तरफ चीज़ें नज़र आ रही हैं. ये लेडीज़ को काम करने की इजाज़त, पॉलिटिक्स में बाकी जॉब्स की तरफ उनको मतलब इजाज़त है. एंड देन क्रिकेट को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. क्रिकेट सीरीज हो जाती है, श्रीलंका में हमें बोर्ड की सिचुएशन ठीक है, सीरीज नहीं हुई. मैं समझता हूँ कि तालिबान क्रिकेट को